Hello, I'm Stephen Seltzer, member of the Board of Directors for Think Local First and Manager of Development for the Victoria Kool-Aid Society. We're continuing our series of conversations with key members of the Think Local community, focusing on their strengthening our support for local businesses, entrepreneurs, suppliers, and nonprofits. Many members have had to adapt, changing suppliers, reaching new customers, and rethinking their marketing strategies as we face challenges around tariffs and shifting spending habits. Today, we're going to be taking a detour into the arts scene. I'm very happy to welcome Erin Gavaghan, Managing Director of the Canadian College Performing Arts. Think Local Victoria's key role is to support local businesses. However, we work with some amazing not-for-profits in our community who need to think local in order to survive and prosper. And CCPA has been doing that for over 20 years. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you.
Just before we get started, I want to acknowledge the Lekwungen and Wasanic people on whose unceded and traditional territories we live and work. Erin, let's talk briefly about your journey to Victoria. You came here from the UK, is it about a year ago, and what's the transition been like?
Yes, I arrived back in Canada in October of 2024, so not quite a year yet. And I have been so warmly welcomed back to Victoria. It's been really brilliant. After graduating from UVic, I moved to the UK and I lived in London, working in theatre and contemporary dance companies for the last 25 years. So it's a homecoming, but with a big gap. And it's definitely different. Canada is a very different place than it was when I left 25 years ago, but I absolutely love Victoria. It's just the perfect size city with just the right mix of things to do and beautiful places and awesome restaurants. And yeah, it's been really great.
Have you had a chance to get out there much? I I do know a fair bit about the college, and I do know that it has a pretty hectic schedule. It may be lessening a bit in the summer months for you, but have you had a chance to re-explore as much as you can?
Yes, I've really enjoyed it. It helps that my husband is British and only moved here in March, so I get to show him the sights. So it means I get to revisit all my favorite haunts that still exist and just find neat new things to do and to see and eat. Um, it's just a really beautiful city to drive around as well. I really like finding those little pockets that have just, a neat little place that you can stop and have a little shop and yeah, an ice cream.
Absolutely. You came here for a purpose. You were lured here to be the new director of the Canadian College Performing Arts. What helped your decision there?
Um, about a year ago, we decided that we would start thinking about moving back to Canada. And I spoke to some of my friends and said, keep an ear out because there aren't a huge number of senior leadership roles in arts organizations in Victoria. Although I think per capita we've got quite a lot, which is great. And within about 2 months, someone sent me this job posting. So the timing was just about perfect. And I knew a few people who knew the college and one who worked here. So I reached out and started to investigate and just thought, oh my goodness, this place is perfect for me.
So the college lured you, but they're known for luring talent to Victoria. You hold auditions across the country and beyond and bring amazing talent to the region to train and perform. So that means everybody in the city knows about CCPA, right?
Oh, I believe the phrase that is used most often is that we are a best kept secret or a hidden gem, which of course, as a business person, fills me with dread. Um, if you know us, you're probably a fan and you've already been to a show. But it's surprising we're sort of quietly tucked away on a side street in Oak Bay. But we have a performance hall here that seats 123 people. We do all sorts of shows throughout the autumn and the spring, and yeah, we're loud and rowdy when the kids are in, so I don't know how we've kept ourselves a secret.
You hire quite a few people. You have a lot of people involved in the college. You're basically a training institution, so you have I guess dozens of faculty. You have students that are either local or they come from all over Canada, all over the world. You're also, like you said, a performance hall, so you have team members that sell tickets, that do concession, and so on. You're quite an employer here in Victoria.
Yes, as a whole, we're about a $1.5 million turnover organization, and we draw 50% of our college students from outside of BC, and our faculty, which we bring in each year, is close to 40 people that we employ each year, and a lot of them are local, because Victoria does attract a really diverse cultural sort of professional spread, but we do bring people in from Vancouver as well as part of our faculty. And then we make a point of inviting directors from across Canada because we want our students to have that interaction with professionals from all of the major centers so that our West Coast locale is not a geographical barrier for them when they go back home. They've got connections and networking. We bring the networking to them. But engaging with our local community is really, really important to us. We are a not-for-profit, a charitable organization, and a society, and so we do a lot of one-off events and engagements that are specifically designed to connect us and the students and performers to our local community.
The key to this podcast is conversations around the challenges that local businesses are facing due to tariffs and the changes in our economy. I imagine CCPA is not immune to a lot of those challenges, especially when you're dealing with international students, when you're dealing with filling up shows and getting sponsorships and people's spending habits. So you're having some challenges like everyone else, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think that the post-pandemic challenges impact not-for-profits a little bit more slowly than they do a lot of other businesses. I think that there was more government support in the thick of it, in those sharp-edged moments. And now that that has dissipated, it's taken quite a long time to start to rebuild audiences and to bring people back in. We've had to start from ground zero again in terms
Right.
of spreading the word about the shows that we've got. That is having a positive impact. We can see more and more people coming to our shows, but just the general impact of the rise in prices across services and all of the regular goods that everyone needs. We're like any business, we still need stationery and IT support and waste removal and all of those sexy bits of overhead that a lot of people don't think about as being a business cost. They're looking at the things on the shelves, and um, that's I think that's the most challenging. We try very, very hard to source locally whenever we enter into any sort of relationship, for printing, for waste management, for things like that, because we want to support our local friends.
Absolutely. One of the things you've done is join Think Local, and we're thrilled to have you in the college as part of what we do to lobby for, not just buying products, but to get to know what businesses and community groups are in Victoria to not just support, but to be able to enjoy what they have to offer. Why did you join Think Local?
Um, I think for me, it was one of the things that I value is having a network that's outside of the specific sector that I work in. I think it's really, really important, and I think that it enables better conversations and insights as to to what's going on in the city that we're in and around. I actually think, Stephen, that you recommended Think Local First to me. You were one of the first people to actually welcome me to Victoria, and we had a coffee, and you mentioned it. And about 3 days later, another person mentioned it to me, and I thought, what is this that's on everyone's lips? And thought, well, and
It's a great cult.
I went to a mixer and I met a dozen people that I would never have met in any other circumstance. And I just kind of felt like I was meeting people who were really trying to, I don't know, make a difference and come together. And now I've run into those people across the city. I shop at their shops. I engage their services, and I feel like I'm part of a business community, which I think would have been really challenging as a newly returned person to the city to do without a network like this.
It's amazing to hear because that's what so many of us, especially on the board, that's the vision for Think Locals to really help bring us together. We were talking at a breakfast. It was a Think Local breakfast a little while ago, and one of the discussion points was, involving both businesses and not-for-profits, and how they can each succeed and work with each other. You had some strong thoughts about that, I remember.
Absolutely. I mean, my professional experience has always been in a not-for-profit or charitable organization, but I feel that our types of organizations can learn a lot from the business community, especially about financial sustainability and there are a lot of sort of business ways of doing things that are really tried and true, tested, that I think charities and not-for-profits can learn from. But in the flip side of that, I also think there are a lot of businesses who care very deeply about the community that they're rooted in, and the not-for-profit sector can help connect them to that community and show us shared values, and I think that we have equal importance in a sort of ecology of all of the services and needs of the people who live in a place. Sort of
Mm,
that placemaking is all about that connection.
agreed. This next question is a little tricky, and basically I'll premise it by saying, um, as we speak, it's before you're closing for a week holidays, hopefully in the summer. So this podcast will be running in mid-August. Are there things you can tell us at that time? I promise it won't run earlier about the upcoming season.
Well, I can't tell you specifically what the shows are, but I can say on the 21st of August we will be launching our season publicly. We are going to have three plays here in Oak Bay in our performance hall in the autumn, a gorgeous concert of remembrance that we do in partnership with the band of the 5th Regiment at the Dave Dunnett on the 8th of November. And that includes a show that we create from scratch each year. Our spring season is all musically inclined. So I've got a rousing pop rock musical coming at the end of January. I've got two show tunes cabarets that we're going to be doing hopefully at Herman's Jazz Club this year, just to bring us a little bit more downtown. And then, as always, our year-end musical will be at the McPherson Playhouse from April 17th, and it's going to be a big, showy dance and song number. But I'm not going to tell you exactly what they're called because I gotta keep it under wraps until the 21st.
Not a problem. I guess I'll mention that information will get out in the media, but also you can go to, if I remember correctly, ccpacanada.com.
Yes.
But there's definitely links on the Think Local homepage as well. And if you send us stuff, I'm sure we'll post it. Last question. As mentioned, I was involved with the college many years ago. And true to a not-for-profit, half the time was spent making it something amazing. The other half was spent just keeping the doors open. Sometimes it felt like. Where would you like to see the college 5 years from now?
Ooh, 5 years from now. 5 years from now, I'd like to see some sold out shows. I'd like to see every classroom completely filled. We're probably at about 75% of our student capacity for next year. And yeah, I would like to see us thriving and doing more stuff in our community as well. Book us
Perfect.
for an event.
Um, yes, exactly. Erin, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. It is vital that we know, what goes on in our community, and some things like the Canadian College of Performing Arts with its high caliber productions and training sometimes does go under the radar. So I'm glad we were able to spark shine that, secret jewel of Victoria.
Thank you so much, Stephen. It's a lot of fun. I have to say it's one of the most fun jobs I've ever had. So I invite anyone who's curious to come check us out.
Perfect. Thank you.